crossed towards the legend of Perseus and Medusa. Long ago, when gods still shaped the fate of men, there lived a youth named Perseus, son of Zeus, king of Olympus, and Danae, a mortal princess. His life was born from prophecy, and from the beginning, his destiny was tangled with the will of the gods. Perseus grew strong, but his path was shadowed by King Polydectes, a ruler both cunning and cruel. The king feared Perseus and despised him. One night, in the midst of a grand feast, Polydectes laid a trap. He demanded every man of his court bring him a horse as tribute. Perseus, poor and proud, had none to give. Mocking him before all, Polydectes sneered, "If you have no horse, then bring me instead the head of Medusa." The court fell silent. Medusa, the very name brought terror. She was one of the three Gorgons, monsters cursed by the gods. Unlike her sisters, Medusa was mortal, yet her face carried a dreadful power. Any who looked upon her turned instantly to stone. To face her was certain death, but Perseus, burning with pride, accepted the impossible challenge. Sparkles the gifts of the gods. The gods took pity on the young hero. Athena, goddess of wisdom, armed him with a polished bronze shield, bright as a mirror. Hermes, fleet of foot, placed in his hands a blade sharp enough to pierce stone. From the nymphs of the north, he received winged sandals to carry him through the skies, a cap of invisibility to hide him from his enemies, and a sack to hold the terrible head. Armed with divine gifts, Perseus set out toward the edge of the world, Dagger the lair of the Gorgons. At last, he reached that desolate place, silent, lifeless, filled with statues, warriors frozen in horror, victims of Medusa's gaze. Her lair was a cave of shadow and stone. Inside, the air reeked of death. There she lay, Medusa, her face twisted by the curse of Athena, her hair alive with hissing serpents. She stirred in her sleep, scales rasping against stone. Perseus dared not look directly. He raised Athena's shield, using its reflection to guide his steps. Step by step, he drew closer. The serpents writhed, sensing danger. Medusa stirred, whispering curses in her sleep. In one swift motion, Perseus raised his blade and struck. The cavern rang with a terrible cry as Medusa's head fell. From her blood leapt two beings, the winged horse Pegasus and the warrior Chrysaor. Perseus swiftly placed the head in the sack, never daring to meet its gaze. Her immortal sisters awoke, shrieking in fury. They clawed at the air, wings beating the cave into a storm of dust. But Perseus, cloaked in invisibility, fled upon his winged sandals, soaring into the open sky. Classical building the return of Perseus. On his journey home, Perseus faced trials still. In a distant land, he found the princess Andromeda, chained to a rock, sacrificed to a sea monster. With a single strike, Perseus unleashed Medusa's head. The beast turned instantly to stone, and Andromeda was freed. At last, Perseus returned to the island of Polydectes. The king, certain Perseus had perished, laughed at his return. But Perseus spoke no word. He reached into the sack, drew forth the head of Medusa, and lifted it high. The king's laughter froze upon his lips. His body stiffened. His eyes turned blank. In a heartbeat, Polydectes and his court stood as statues of stone. The tyrant was no more. Perseus had triumphed. Perseus offered the head to Athena, who set it upon her shield as a weapon against evil. Pegasus soared into the heavens, and Perseus's name lived forever in the songs of Greece. And Medusa, though slain, endured in memory. A monster to some, a victim to others, her story echoed as a warning of beauty, power, and divine wrath. Thus ended the tale of Perseus and Medusa, a story of courage against terror, of mortal strengthened by the hand of the gods, and of a hero who dared to face the unfaceable.